Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge and watched the stars through the main window. His ship had been flying through deep space for 3 months now, looking for new worlds that humans could live on. The year was 2157, and Earth needed more room for its growing population. Dr. Lisa Carter walked up to Jake with a big smile on her face. She was the chief science officer and loved studying new forms of life. Lisa had been waiting her whole career for this moment, the chance to meet aliens for the first time. "Captain, we are getting some strange readings from the Kepler 442 system," Lisa said as she looked at her data pad. "The energy patterns don't match anything we have seen before." Commander Alex Turner joined them at the bridge. He was a tough military man who always expected trouble. Alex had fought in many wars and trusted his gut feelings about danger. "Could be natural space phenomena," Alex said while checking his weapon systems. "Or it could be something we don't want to meet." Jake made the decision to move closer and investigate. The horizon's edge flew toward the strange energy readings for 2 days. When they got close enough, the crew saw something that made them all stop and stare. Floating in space were 3 ships unlike anything humans had ever built. The ships looked like they were made of crystal and light. They were beautiful but also frightening. The alien vessels seemed to grow and change shape as the crew watched them. "My God," Lisa whispered as she recorded everything. "They're alive, somehow. The ships are actually living creatures." A message came through on all frequencies. The voice was musical and strange, speaking in perfect English. "Human vessel, we are the Zephyrian Collective. We have been waiting to meet your species." Jake felt his heart beating fast as he opened communication channels. This was the moment that would change human history forever. "This is Captain Morrison of the human ship Horizon's Edge. We come in peace and friendship." The lead alien ship moved closer, and Jake could see figures moving inside its crystal walls. The beings inside were tall and thin, with skin that looked like glass. They had 4 arms and moved like they were dancing. "We are honored to meet you," came the musical voice again. "I am Prism Singer Vathis, speaker for this expedition. We have much to discuss about your species and your place in the galaxy." Over the next week, the 2 groups met several times in the space between their ships. Lisa led the human team and shared information about Earth's culture, science, and history. She was excited to learn about alien civilizations and asked many questions. The Zephyrians seemed polite but distant. Vathis would listen to human achievements and nod slowly, but Jake noticed something in the alien's manner that bothered him. It was like the way adults might listen to children talking about their simple games. "Your mechanical devices are quite interesting," Vathis said while examining a human computer. "Very crude but functional for your current development level," Alex whispered to Jake during one meeting. "Something's not right about this. They act like they're better than us." Lisa showed the aliens human art, music, and scientific discoveries. She explained how humans had learned to fly, built cities, and explored space. The Zephyrians watched with what seemed like amusement. "Your species shows promise," Vathis said after seeing a presentation about human space exploration. "With proper guidance, you might advance beyond your current primitive state," Jake felt, anger rising in his chest but kept his voice calm. "Primitive? We built ships that can travel between stars. We've survived wars, diseases, and natural disasters. Humans are not primitive." "Of course not," Vathis replied in a tone that made Jake think the alien was lying. "Your achievements are remarkable for such a young species. The Galactic Assembly will be very interested in your development," Lisa asked about this Galactic Assembly and learned it was a group of advanced alien races that controlled most of the galaxy. The Zephyrians explained that new species had to be evaluated before they could join galactic civilization. "The evaluation process is thorough," Vathis explained. "We must determine if a species is ready for advanced technology and interaction with superior civilizations." The meetings ended when the Zephyrians said they needed to report back to the assembly. They promised to return soon with news about humanity's future in the galaxy. After the alien ships left, Jake gathered his senior staff. Lisa was still excited about the contact, but Alex looked worried. "Did anyone else notice how they talked to us?" Alex asked. "Like we were children or pets." "They're just being careful," Lisa said. "First contact is complicated. I'm sure they'll welcome us once they understand what humans can do." Jake wasn't so sure. The way Vathis had looked at human technology reminded him of how scientists might study interesting insects. There was curiosity, but also a sense that humans were somehow lesser beings. 3 weeks later, the crew of Horizon's Edge intercepted a Zephyrian transmission that was meant for the Galactic Assembly. Lisa translated the alien language with growing horror. The message was clear and brutal. The Zephyrians had classified humanity as a primitive species suitable only for observation and resource extraction. According to their report, humans were too dependent on crude technology, too violent, and too short-lived to be considered equals. The aliens had declared humans primitive, and now the Galactic Assembly would treat Earth like a nature preserve, with valuable mining rights. Jake looked at his crew and saw the same anger in their eyes that he felt in his heart. The aliens thought humans were primitive animals that could be controlled and used. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The message from Captain Morrison reached Earth 3 days later and sent shockwaves through every government building on the planet. President Maria Santos sat in the emergency meeting room deep under Washington, D.C., with the most powerful people. On Earth, around the table, General Nathan Brooks slammed his fist on the metal table, making coffee cups jump. He was a big man with gray hair who had spent 40 years defending humanity. "They want to treat us like animals in a zoo," he said with anger in his voice. Admiral Susan Parker stood by the wall studying star maps. She commanded Earth's space fleet and was already thinking about military options. "How many ships do they have and what kind of weapons?" she asked, while pointing at different solar systems. Dr. Richard Stone opened his laptop and showed alien technology scans to the group. He was Earth's best expert on alien science and had been studying the Zephyrian data for days without sleep. "Their technology is advanced, but not impossible to understand," he said while adjusting his glasses. President Santos looked tired and worried as she read the full translation of the alien message. The Galactic Assembly had made their decision about humanity without even visiting Earth or talking to human leaders. "According to this report, we are officially classified as a developing species under protective status," she said while reading from the document. "We cannot expand beyond our current 3 solar systems, and we must accept their guidance administrators." The room fell silent as everyone understood what this meant. Earth would become a colony controlled by aliens who thought humans were too stupid to govern themselves. "What exactly does guidance administrator mean?" asked General Brooks while cleaning his pistol. Dr. Stone pulled up more translated documents on his computer. "It means they will station alien officials in our major cities to oversee all government decisions and control our technology development." "Like hell they will," Admiral Parker said as she turned from the star maps. "Earth has 6 billion people and the strongest military we've ever built. Let them try to control us." 2 weeks later, the Zephyrian fleet arrived at Earth with ships from 3 other alien species. The crystal vessels hung in space above every major city on the planet, like giant floating monuments to human defeat. Commander Zeth Carr was the alien chosen to run Earth's new government. He spoke to human leaders through video screens from his flagship, while his soldiers prepared to land on the planet. "Your species will benefit greatly from our guidance," Zeth Carr said in his musical voice. "We have helped many primitive worlds achieve basic civilization standards." President Santos refused to meet with the alien commander in person. Instead, she spoke to him through secure communication channels while human military forces watched the skies. "Earth does not recognize your authority over our planet," she said with steel in her voice. Humans govern themselves and always will. Your opinion will change once you see the benefits of our system, Zeth-Kar replied calmly. All primitive species resist guidance at first. The first alien shuttles landed in major cities around the world. The Zephyrians brought floating platforms and energy weapons that could destroy buildings with beams of light. They also brought administrators from other species who had experience controlling primitive worlds. But something unexpected happened when the aliens tried to take control. Human governments simply refused to cooperate. Police and military units ignored alien orders and continued following their human commanders. In New York City, Colonel Sam Mitchell organized resistance cells in the subway tunnels under the city. He was a special forces officer who knew how to fight enemies with better weapons. We don't need to beat their technology, he told his team while planning sabotage missions. We just need to make their occupation so difficult they give up Maya. Rodriguez was a computer expert who worked for the government before the invasion. Now she used her skills to hack alien communication systems and spread resistance messages across the planet. Their security is good, but they don't understand human creativity, she said, while breaking into Zephyrian databases. They think we're too primitive to threaten their systems. Dr. Stone had been secretly studying captured alien technology in hidden laboratories under the Rocky Mountains. His team worked day and night to understand how Zephyrian weapons and ships functioned. The energy manipulation systems are based on biological interfaces, he explained to President Santos during a secure video call. They grow their technology. Instead of building it, underground networks formed in every major city as humans refused to accept alien rule. Teachers continued educating children about human history instead of alien-approved subjects. Scientists shared research through hidden channels. Military units stayed loyal to human commanders. The aliens had expected quick surrender once humans saw their superior technology. Instead, they found a planet full of people who would rather fight than accept conquest. Commander Zeth-Kar increased security measures and brought more ships to Earth orbit. His soldiers patrolled human cities with energy weapons, while alien administrators tried to run governments that ignored their orders. Your resistance is pointless, he broadcast to human populations. We have controlled hundreds of primitive worlds. Your defiance will only bring suffering. President Santos responded with a message broadcast to every human settlement in the galaxy. Earth does not surrender, and Earth does not submit. We call on all humans everywhere to resist alien occupation. The message reached human colonies that had been hiding beyond known space for months. Settlements led by people like Captain Ryan Foster and Governor Linda Price had been preparing for this moment. These hidden colonies had been building ships and weapons while staying off alien detection systems. They began coordinating with Earth's resistance through secret communication networks. Other alien species who had been conquered by the Galactic Assembly began receiving human messages. The insect-like Threx had been enslaved for 200 years and were ready to fight for freedom. The aquatic Nereid had lost their home oceans to alien mining operations and wanted revenge against their oppressors. Dr. Stone made a breakthrough when his team successfully reverse-engineered a Zephyrian energy weapon. We can build our own versions, he told the resistance leadership. Their technology isn't magic, it's just different science. Underground factories began producing hybrid weapons that combined human engineering with alien energy systems. The new weapons were crude but effective against surprised alien forces. Colonel Mitchell's resistance cells launched their first major attack against alien installations in major cities. They used guerrilla tactics that the aliens had never encountered from primitive species. The attack succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Alien forces retreated to their orbital ships after losing control of several cities. Commander Zeth-Kar called for reinforcements from the Galactic Assembly, but human resistance intercepted the alien communications and began jamming their signals. Maya Rodriguez had learned how to disrupt Zephyrian technology using modified human computers. They expected us to be grateful for their guidance, she said while watching alien ships struggle with communication problems. Instead, we're teaching them that humans don't make good slaves. The resistance was growing stronger every day while alien control was breaking down. Humans were proving that being called primitive didn't mean being helpless. And somewhere in the hidden laboratories under Earth, Dr. Stone was working on something that would change everything. He had discovered how to interface human minds directly with alien technology. The war was about to begin. Dr. Elena Hayes walked through the hidden corridors carved deep inside the Colorado Rocky Mountains, where Project Prometheus operated in complete secrecy. The underground facility was larger than most cities and housed the brightest human minds. Working on the most important project in human history, she stopped at a laboratory where engineer Chris Bennett was connecting human neural interfaces to captured Zephyrian biotechnology. Sparks flew from the experimental equipment as he tried to make two completely different technological systems work together. "Any progress today?" Elena asked, while reviewing data from dozens of failed attempts to merge human and alien systems. "The biointegration is fighting our mechanical interfaces," Chris said while wiping sweat from his forehead. "Their technology thinks our equipment is diseased tissue that needs to be destroyed." Dr. Paul Wright joined them at the experiment table carrying a modified alien energy core. He had been a NASA physicist before the invasion and now spent his time trying to understand how aliens manipulated space and time. "I think I know the problem," Paul said while connecting new cables to the energy core. "We're trying to force compatibility instead of creating true fusion between the systems." Elena watched as Paul activated the hybrid device using a completely new approach. Instead of connecting human technology to alien biosystems, he had grown human tissue cultures that could interface with both types of technology. The device hummed to life and began responding to human thought patterns while maintaining alien energy manipulation capabilities. For the first time, a human had successfully controlled Zephyrian technology directly through mental commands. "This changes everything," Elena said with excitement in her voice. "If we can mass-produce these interfaces, humans will be able to use alien technology better than the aliens themselves." Meanwhile, Captain Morrison's ship Horizon's Edge moved through space like a ghost while staying ahead of Zephyrian patrol fleets. His crew had modified their vessel with captured alien technology and learned to hide from Galactic Assembly detection systems. Alex Turner studied star charts showing alien military positions throughout known space. "The Assembly has 1,000 ships spread across 200 star systems," he told Jake while marking enemy positions. "But they're spread thin," Jake replied while looking at the tactical display. "They control territory through fear and superior technology, not through overwhelming numbers." Lisa Carter had become an expert at intercepting alien communications and learned disturbing information about how the Galactic Assembly maintained control. "They've done this to dozens of species over thousands of years," she explained to the crew. "Every time a new species develops space travel, the Assembly classifies them as primitive and forces them into tributary relationships. Species that resist are destroyed as examples to others." The crew discovered that many so-called advanced species in the Assembly had actually been conquered civilizations that were forced to serve their alien masters. The galaxy was controlled through a system of technological oppression that had lasted for millennia on Earth's moon. Director Karen Walsh supervised secret manufacturing facilities that were hidden inside artificial craters. Her factories produced new weapons that combined human kinetic energy systems with alien power sources. "The beauty of human weapons is their simplicity," she explained to her engineering teams. "Aliens use energy manipulation for everything. But sometimes you just need to hit something really hard with a big rock." The lunar factories began producing hybrid missiles that used alien energy to accelerate human kinetic warheads to incredible speeds. The new weapons could penetrate any known alien defense system through sheer brute force. Colonel Mitchell's resistance networks on Earth had grown into a planet-wide rebellion that controlled most major cities. His fighters used guerrilla tactics, That confused alien commanders who expected primitive species to fight in predictable ways. They're used to fighting species that copy their technology, Mitchell explained to his unit commanders. But humans don't copy, we improve and adapt. Maya Rodriguez had successfully infiltrated the Galactic Assembly's communication network and discovered something shocking. The Assembly was not as united as they appeared, and many member species were unhappy with Zephyrian leadership. There are resistance movements on dozens of worlds, she reported to the global resistance leadership. Species that have been enslaved for centuries are waiting for someone to lead a rebellion. Dr. Stone's research teams had made contact with these alien resistance groups and began sharing human innovations with other oppressed species. The insect-like Threx were particularly interested in human weapons, technology. Hive Commander Zach led the Threx resistance and had been fighting a secret war against Zephyrian occupation for 50 years. Your species brings new ideas that our enemies cannot predict, Zach told human contacts through encrypted channels. The aquatic Nereid had lost their home worlds to assembly mining operations, but maintained hidden fleets in the deep ocean trenches of conquered planets. Their leader, Admiral Keth Moore, began coordinating attacks with human resistance forces. The time for hiding is over, Keth Moore declared to his people. The humans have shown us that the Assembly can be defeated. Back in the Colorado facility, Elena's team achieved another breakthrough when they successfully created biotechnology that was superior to original Zephyrian systems. The human-designed interfaces could control multiple alien technologies simultaneously. We're not just copying their systems anymore, Elena told Dr. Stone during a secure communication. We're creating entirely new forms of biotechnology that aliens have never seen. The new human biotech allowed soldiers to interface directly with weapons, ships, and communication systems using only their thoughts. More importantly, it gave humans the ability to hack into and control alien technology in real time. Captain Morrison received the first prototype bio-interface units and had them installed on his ship. The Horizon's Edge became a hybrid vessel that could outmaneuver and outfight any Zephyrian ship in space. It's like the ship is part of my body now, Jake told his crew after testing the new systems. I can feel every component and control everything through direct mental contact. Alex Turner tested the new bioweapons that allowed soldiers to adapt their equipment instantly to any combat situation. These systems learn and improve during battle, he reported with amazement. Lisa Carter used biointerfaces to hack into alien databases and steal classified information about Assembly military capabilities. They have powerful technology, but they've become dependent on it, she discovered. Zephyrians can't function without their bioships and energy manipulation systems. If we can disrupt those systems, they become helpless. The Resistance had learned that the Assembly's greatest weakness was their arrogance and technological dependence. They had become so superior that they forgot how to adapt and innovate when faced with unexpected challenges. Elena's biotechnology gave humans the ability to turn alien advantages into human strengths. Soon, human fighters would be able to control alien ships and weapons better than the aliens who built them. The underground war was about to become an open rebellion that would shake the foundations of galactic civilization. Humans had been declared primitive by aliens who were about to learn the cost of underestimating human creativity. In hidden facilities across Earth and beyond, human scientists and engineers were preparing weapons and technologies that would revolutionize warfare in space. The aliens thought they were dealing with primitive animals. They were actually facing the most dangerous and adaptive species the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Susan Parker stood in the command center buried 3 miles under the Pacific Ocean and watched as human forces prepared for the largest military operation in the history of warfare. Operation Liberation would begin in exactly 6 hours, and nothing would ever be the same again. All strike teams report ready, Colonel Mitchell announced from his position in New York, where resistance fighters had surrounded every alien installation in the city. Ground forces are in position and waiting for your signal. Captain Morrison's voice came through from his ship hidden in the asteroid belt beyond Mars. Space forces ready, Admiral. The Horizon's Edge and 12 other vessels are prepared to hit their orbital platforms simultaneously. Dr. Elena Hayes had worked for 3 days straight, installing the final bio-interface systems that would allow human fighters to control captured alien technology during battle. All enhancement systems are operational, she reported. While checking her equipment readings, Admiral Parker took a deep breath and gave the order that would start humanity's war for freedom. All units commence Operation Liberation. Show these aliens what humans do when someone calls us primitive. The first attacks began exactly at midnight Earth time, when resistance fighters in every major city launched coordinated strikes against Zephyrian installations. Colonel Mitchell's teams used the new bioweapons to disable alien defense systems before they could respond. In New York, resistance fighters stormed the Alien Administrative Center using hybrid weapons that could penetrate Zephyrian energy shields. The aliens inside were caught completely by surprise as humans appeared to be using impossible technology. How are primitive beings controlling our biosystems? Commander Zethkar demanded as he watched his forces retreat from human attacks. This should not be possible. Meanwhile, in space, Captain Morrison led the assault on alien orbital platforms around Earth using ships equipped with Elena's bio-interface technology. The Horizon's Edge moved like a living creature as Jake controlled every system through direct mental contact. Target their command ship, Morrison ordered as his gunners locked onto Zethkar's flagship using weapons that combined human kinetic energy with alien power systems. Let's give them a demonstration of human primitive technology. The hybrid weapons tore through alien defenses that had never encountered such brutal combinations of brute force and advanced energy manipulation. Zethkar's ship was crippled within minutes as human boarding parties used bio-interfaces to turn alien systems against their operators. Alex Turner led the boarding team that captured the alien flagship intact. The biosecurity systems are trying to stop us, he reported while fighting through alien corridors. But our interfaces are overriding their commands faster than they can adapt. Human forces captured not only the command ship, but also its entire database of galactic assembly military positions, communication codes, and strategic plans. Lisa. Carter immediately began downloading alien intelligence while the battle continued around them. They have detailed files on every species in the assembly, she reported with excitement, including the locations of all resistance movements and enslaved populations. The success of Operation Liberation exceeded every human expectation as alien forces retreated from Earth after losing most of their orbital infrastructure in just 8 hours of fighting. But the real shock came when hidden human colonies throughout the galaxy revealed themselves and began their own attacks on assembly targets. Captain Ryan Foster commanded the secret colony on Kepler 438b and had spent months preparing for this moment. All colonial forces launch coordinated strikes now. He broadcast to hidden human settlements across 20 star systems. Governor Linda Price led the assault on assembly mining operations in the Tau Ceti system, where humans had been secretly building ships and weapons for years. Time to show the galaxy that humans don't stay hidden forever. The attacks revealed that humanity had been expanding far beyond their permitted 3 systems and had established colonies in regions the assembly thought were empty space. Dr. Richard Stone's intelligence networks had guided these secret expansions using captured alien star charts and navigation data. We've been playing by their rules while secretly breaking every single one of them, he explained to Admiral Parker, other enslaved. Species across the galaxy saw human success and began their own uprisings against assembly forces. Hive Commander Zack led Threk swarms against Zephyrian bioships using human-designed weapons that turned alien technology into scrap metal. The humans have shown us the way, Zack declared as his forces overran alien installations that had controlled his people for 2 centuries. Today we reclaim our freedom. Admiral Kethmore brought Nereid forces out of hiding in ocean trenches across multiple worlds and launched simultaneous attacks on assembly underwater facilities. "The tide has turned," she announced as alien mining operations were destroyed. Maya Rodriguez had successfully infiltrated the assembly's main communication network and began broadcasting human victory messages across the galaxy while jamming. "Alien distress calls. Every enslaved species in the galaxy can hear us now," she reported, while watching alien commanders struggle with communication failures. They know the assembly can be defeated. The most devastating blow came when Dr. Elena Hayes activated a computer virus that had been hidden in captured alien biotechnology for months. The virus spread through assembly networks and began turning alien systems against their operators. "Their biotechnology is trying to reject foreign control," she explained, as alien ships throughout the galaxy began experiencing system failures. "But the virus makes their systems think human operators are the original biological controllers." Commander Zeth Carr found himself trapped on his own disabled flagship as human biointerfaces took control of his ship's systems. "This is impossible," he said, while watching human fighters operate Zephyrian technology better than his trained crews. "Your species was classified as primitive," Alex Turner told the alien commander while securing the bridge. "But primitive species don't build technology that makes your advanced systems obsolete." Jake Morrison used the captured flagship's communication systems to broadcast a message across the galaxy that reached every assembly world and military installation. "This is Captain Morrison of the Human Resistance speaking to all free beings in the galaxy." His voice carried through space to billions of enslaved creatures. "The Galactic Assembly has been defeated at Earth, and their forces are in full retreat. We call upon all enslaved species to rise up and reclaim their freedom. Humanity will provide support and technology to any people fighting for liberation from assembly oppression." The message caused panic in assembly leadership as dozens of member species began questioning their loyalty to the organization that had kept them in technological dependence for millennia. President Maria Santos addressed the people of Earth from the ruins of alien administrative centers in major cities around the world. "Today we have proven that being called primitive is not the same as being weak. Earth rejects the authority of the Galactic Assembly and demands recognition as an equal member of galactic civilization. Any alien force that threatens human freedom will face the consequences." But even as humans celebrated their victories, Admiral Parker knew the real war was just beginning. The Assembly had thousands of ships and controlled hundreds of worlds. "This was just the opening battle," she told her staff while reviewing reports of alien reinforcements moving toward human space. "Now they know we're dangerous and they'll bring everything they have to destroy us." Captain Morrison looked at the captured alien technology around him and smiled grimly. "Let them come," he said while his crew prepared the hybrid ship for deeper strikes into enemy territory. They wanted to see what primitive humans could do. "We're just getting started." The Galactic Assembly's response came 6 weeks later, when a massive fleet of 3,000 ships from 12 different alien species arrived at the edge of human space. Admiral Parker watched their approach through long-range sensors while preparing Earth's defenses for the largest space battle in galactic history. General Nathan Brooks commanded ground forces across 50 worlds as the war spread throughout known space. "They're bringing everything they have," he reported while studying enemy fleet compositions. "This is their attempt to crush human resistance once and for all." Captain Morrison led the human coalition fleet that now included ships from 6 different liberated species. The Threx had contributed bioships that could repair themselves during battle while Nereid vessels could phase in and out of normal space. "Our combined fleet has 400 ships against their 3,000, Morrison announced to his captains during the final strategy meeting, "but we have advantages they don't understand." Dr. Elena Hayes had spent weeks creating new biointerface systems that allowed human crews to operate multiple alien ship types simultaneously. A single human operator can now control an entire squadron of different vessel classes, she explained while demonstrating the new technology. The first major battle occurred in the Proxima Centauri system, where assembly forces tried to recapture the liberated human colonies. The aliens expected to overwhelm human defenses with superior numbers and firepower. Instead, they found human ships that could adapt their capabilities instantly during combat. When assembly forces used energy weapons, human vessels switched to kinetic defenses. When aliens tried electronic warfare, humans deployed bio-countermeasures. How are they changing their ship configurations in real time? Demanded Assembly Fleet Commander Vel Thar, as he watched human vessels transform their weapon systems during the middle of battle. Morrison's flagship had become a hybrid monster that combined human engineering with technology from 6 different alien species. "Target their command ship with everything we have," he ordered, while his bio-interfaces allowed him to coordinate attacks from multiple vessel types. The battle lasted 18 hours and ended with the complete destruction of the assembly attack fleet. Human losses were minimal, while alien casualties numbered in the hundreds of thousands. But the real victory came when captured alien crews began defecting to the human coalition after seeing how different species could work together as equals, rather than in rigid hierarchies. "Your assembly treats us like slaves," a captured Nereid officer told Admiral Parker during interrogation, "but humans treat us like partners. Why should we fight for our oppressors?" Word of human victories spread across the galaxy faster than assembly forces could suppress the information. Maya Rodriguez had established communication networks that reached every enslaved world and showed oppressed species that resistance was possible. Dr. Richard Stone's intelligence analysis revealed that the assembly was beginning to fragment as member species questioned their leadership. 40% of their member worlds have stopped sending tribute payments, he reported during a strategy meeting. Several species are secretly negotiating with our coalition representatives. The Assembly's unity is breaking down under pressure. Colonel Mitchell led special operations teams deep into Assembly territory to coordinate with local resistance movements. His forces used bio-interfaces to operate captured alien equipment and blend in with local populations. "Every world we visit has underground resistance groups that have been waiting for leadership," Mitchell reported from a hidden base in the Vega system. "They have weapons and ships, but need coordination to be effective." The war's turning point came when human forces captured the Assembly's main military academy on Rigel Prime. The facility contained detailed information about every alien military, technology, and strategic doctrine developed over thousands of years. Lisa Carter led the team that downloaded the Academy's entire database before destroying the facility. "We now know more about Assembly military capabilities than most of their own commanders," she announced with satisfaction. "Their strategies haven't changed in centuries because they never faced an opponent that could adapt faster than they could respond." Dr. Elena Hayes used the captured data to create new biotechnologies that could interface with any known alien system. Human operators could now take control of enemy ships and weapons during battle. "We're not just fighting them anymore," Elena explained while watching human crews operate captured assembly vessels. "We're turning their own technology against them." The most devastating human victory occurred when Captain Morrison led a strike force against the Assembly's main fleet base in the Arcturus system. The attack used a new strategy that no alien commander had ever encountered. Instead of destroying enemy ships, human forces used bio-interfaces to capture them intact and turn them against their former allies. Entire alien fleets found themselves fighting each other as human operators took control of their command systems. "This is not warfare," protested Assembly Supreme Commander Prism Singer Vethis as he watched his forces turn against each other. "This is technological possession." "You called us primitive," Morrison replied over communication channels. "Primitive species learn to use whatever tools they can find, including your tools." The Arcturus battle ended with the capture of 8 100 assembly vessels, and the complete collapse of their main fleet base. More importantly, it demonstrated that human biotechnology had surpassed original alien capabilities. Enslaved species across the galaxy saw that the supposedly superior assembly forces were helpless against human innovation. Rebellion broke out on hundreds of worlds as oppressed populations rose up against their alien rulers. Hive Commander Zack led Threx swarms that liberated 12 worlds in just 2 weeks using human-supplied bioweapons. The insects, the assembly, enslaved, have become the swarm that will destroy them, he declared. Admiral Kethmore's Nereid forces captured underwater cities that had been assembly strongholds for centuries. The oceans remember their children, she announced as her people reclaimed their ancestral homes. The assembly tried to maintain control through terror attacks on civilian populations, but this strategy backfired when human forces began protecting refugee worlds with advanced defensive systems. Dr. Stone's Refugee Protection Program used Elena's biotechnology to create defensive shields that could protect entire planets from assembly bombardment. No civilian population will be abandoned to alien revenge, he declared. President Santos announced the formation of the Free Galaxy Coalition that welcomed any species willing to reject assembly dominance. The age of galactic oppression is ending. She declared to billions of beings across hundreds of worlds, humanity offers partnership to all free species. Together we will build a galaxy based on cooperation instead of conquest. But the Assembly's final desperate move came when they deployed their ultimate weapon, planet-killing devices that could destroy entire worlds rather than lose them too. Human liberation. They would rather commit genocide than accept defeat, Admiral Parker reported as Assembly forces began targeting liberated worlds for complete destruction. Morrison knew that the coalition had to strike at the heart of Assembly, power before more worlds were destroyed. "We're taking the war to Zephyr Prime," he announced to his fleet commanders. "It's time to end this conflict by removing the Assembly leadership permanently." The final battle for galactic freedom was about to begin at the capital world of humanity's greatest enemy. The final assault on Zephyr Prime began when Captain Morrison's coalition fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Assembly's capital system. 2,000 ships from 20 different species moved in perfect coordination toward the heavily defended world that had controlled the galaxy for millennia. Admiral Parker commanded the attack from her flagship while monitoring feeds from across the massive battlefield. All coalition forces advanced to predetermined positions, she ordered, as human, Threx, Nereid, and other liberated species closed in on their targets. The defense of Zephyr Prime was led by Prism Singer Vathis himself, commanding the Assembly's most powerful bioships from a crystalline fortress that floated in the planet's upper atmosphere. "Destroy the primitive coalition before they can land forces," he commanded his remaining loyal fleets, but the Assembly's defenses crumbled under attacks from weapons they had never seen before. Dr. Elena Hayes had created bio-interfaces that allowed coalition forces to turn Zephyrian crystal ships against each other in real time. "Their bioships are accepting our control signals," Elena reported as dozens of alien vessels switched sides during the battle. "The Zephyrians are losing control of their own technology." Morrison led the direct assault on Vethis's command fortress, using ships that combined human engineering with captured alien systems. "Target the main crystal core," he ordered, while his bio-interfaces gave him control over multiple weapon systems simultaneously. The battle for Zephyr Prime lasted 3 days as coalition forces fought through layers of planetary defenses that had protected the Assembly capital for thousands of years. Human tactics and alien technology proved unstoppable against enemies who had grown overconfident. Alex Turner commanded the boarding parties that captured Vethis's fortress after Elena's bioweapons disabled its defensive systems. "The Prism Singer is in custody," he reported as coalition forces secured the facility. "His bioship command systems are completely under our control." The capture of Vaethis marked the effective end of the Galactic Assembly as member species abandoned. the organization rather than face human biotechnology that could turn their own ships against them. General Brooks supervised the occupation of assembly administrative centers across dozens of worlds as local populations welcomed liberation from centuries of technological oppression. "Every world we liberate has the same story," he reported to coalition leadership. Species that were once advanced became dependent on assembly technology and lost the ability to innovate. Colonel Mitchell discovered vast archives on Zephyr Prime that contained the suppressed histories of hundreds of conquered civilizations. "The assembly has been destroying technological development for 10,000 years, he announced, while reviewing captured records. Any species that developed beyond approved limits was classified as dangerous and either controlled or eliminated. Dr. Richard Stone's analysis of assembly records revealed the true scope of galactic oppression. They conquered over 600 species and forced them into technological stagnation, he reported with horror. Entire civilizations that could have reached the stars were kept as primitive resource extraction colonies. President Santos arrived at Zephyr Prime to establish the new galactic government that would replace the assembly. "Today marks the beginning of true galactic civilization," she declared to representatives from liberated worlds. The Free Galaxy Coalition offers equal partnership to all species willing to share knowledge and technology freely. Dr. Lisa Carter was appointed as the Coalition's Director of Interspecies Relations and began the difficult work of healing divisions created by millennia of assembly oppression. "Many species have been enemies for so long, they've forgotten they were originally allies," she explained, while organizing peace conferences between former adversaries. The most surprising development came when many Zephyrians asked to join the coalition after learning how their leaders had suppressed other species. Healer-singer Mathis spoke for the reformed Zephyrian faction. "We were told that guiding primitive species was our responsibility," Mathis said with shame in her musical voice. "We did not know our guidance was actually oppression that prevented natural development." The Zephyrian people wished to make amends by sharing our biotechnology freely with all coalition members. Elena Hayes established the Galactic Innovation Council that brought together scientists from dozens of species to develop new technologies through cooperation instead of conquest. When species work together instead of competing, innovation accelerates beyond anything we thought possible, she announced while demonstrating new biomechanical systems that surpassed anything the assembly had created. Maya Rodriguez created the Coalition Communication Network that connected every liberated world and allowed free exchange of information across the galaxy. "Knowledge belongs to everyone," she declared, while establishing open databases that replaced the assembly's restricted information systems. The new galactic order faced its first major test when several assembly loyalist species attempted to maintain the old system of technological oppression. However, their efforts collapsed when their own populations chose coalition membership over continued stagnation. Captain Morrison was promoted to Admiral of the Coalition Defense Fleet and established new principles for galactic security based on protection rather than conquest. "The Coalition fleet exists to defend freedom, not to impose it," he announced, while establishing defensive positions around vulnerable worlds. "Any species that chooses isolation will be respected, but no species will be allowed to enslave others." 5 years after the fall of the assembly, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. Species that had been enemies for centuries were working together on projects that benefited everyone. The Threx had become master bioengineers who created living ships that could adapt to any environment. The Nereid developed underwater cities that served as research centers for aquatic species across the galaxy. Even former assembly leaders like Commander Zeth Kar had joined the coalition after witnessing the benefits of cooperative development. "I spent my life enforcing primitive classifications," he admitted during a coalition council meeting. "Now I see that the only primitive behavior was our refusal to learn from other species." The coalition's greatest achievement was the establishment of New Geneva Station humanity's first major galactic research facility, where children from dozens of species learned together. Dr. Carter watched young humans, Zephyrians, Threx, and Nereid working on joint science projects and smiled at how naturally they cooperated. They don't see species differences as barriers, she observed. To them, diversity is just another tool for solving problems. Admiral Morrison stood on the observation deck of his flagship and looked out at the bustling traffic around New Geneva Station. Ships from hundreds of worlds carried goods, knowledge, and people freely across a galaxy that had once been ruled by fear. The aliens thought calling us primitive was an insult, he reflected while watching a Zephyrian bioship dock next to a human cargo vessel. They didn't understand that humans consider being underestimated an advantage. Alex Turner joined Morrison at the observation window and pointed to a group of mixed-species crews working together on a new exploration vessel. "Look at that," he said with satisfaction. Human, Threx, Nereid, and Zephyrian engineers building something none of them could create alone. The galaxy had learned the most important lesson in the universe. Cooperation creates more advanced civilization than conquest ever could. Species that had been trapped in technological stagnation for millennia were now pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Alina Hayes had established research stations in every sector where scientists from different species worked together on projects that would have been impossible under assembly rule. "We're discovering that the galaxy is much larger and more wonderful than anyone realized," she announced during a coalition science conference. "When you stop trying to control other species, you start learning from them instead." The transformation was complete when the coalition's exploration fleets began making contact with species beyond the former assembly territories. These new civilizations were offered partnership instead of conquest. "The galaxy is full of beings who want to build something better together," President Santos declared during the 5th anniversary celebration of Galactic Liberation. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't defeating the assembly. It was proving that calling someone primitive says more about the speaker than the target. The children learning together on New Geneva Station would grow up in a galaxy where species differences were celebrated rather than used as excuses for oppression. And somewhere in the archives of the Coalition, the records of the Galactic Assembly served as a reminder of what happened when advanced civilizations forgot that wisdom comes from cooperation, not conquest. The galaxy belonged to everyone. Now,